Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Amanda, and in this video we're going to have a look at manifesting changes in others. So I know the other day we talked about this in the live, and I said I would go a little bit more into the detail on a separate video for anyone that missed it, and maybe on this process of desiring to see changes in others around you. So when we are creating a different perception of others around us, which is what we are doing when we are manifesting, we are having a kind of a tunnel vision of how we see that person in the desired reality. So when we're actually manifesting to see changes in others and then inevitably seeing them actually showing up in this way, we also have to come into how we are thinking about ourselves in these moments in relation to all of this as well too. So when we have affirmations that we are seeing somebody in a certain way, whatever it is that we're manifesting for a specific person, or simply just wanting to see something for somebody else in our reality in a positive light, yes, we have separate affirmations for this. However, if we're somebody who is interacting with this person in our reality and it seems that it's a bit difficult to do so, the difficulty is really arising from ourselves. What I mean by this is when somebody shows up in a negative way and they are maybe speaking negative or maybe they are acting negative, the difficulty that arises within us is because we're believing in the story of them in that way rather than actually continuing to see them in the way that we desire. Now, this does not mean that we actually accept any negative behaviors or any negative talk from this person in our reality, because we do have to have boundaries on our journey in manifestation. And the only way that we really actually allow people to show up in the positive light is to show them from our own actions and our own integrity and our own respect for ourselves and for them as well too, that we don't tolerate these ways of being. We show people what we tolerate, and they are going to treat us by the way that we show them how we are going to allow them to show up in our reality. So it's not that it just all comes down to our mindset, although a lot of it does come down to our mindset, because we do have to have this mindset where we are respectfully showing up in a confident way and expressing our boundaries in this confident, respectful way, and that is not judged or that is not interpreted by them as anything to do with them. It's simply just us showing up in a way that we know that we are valuable and that we deserve to be respected as we would respect them as well too. So when we're actually manifesting to see changes then in others, and we have this kind of image in our mind about the change that we want to see, this is the image that we stick to. When we waver in the image, so if they show up in a negative way and we start to find it difficult to maybe relate to them in this way, we, as I say, are given too much power to them not changing at all. We're given too much power to the way that they are showing up, rather than having the compassion within us to understand that they are on their own journey as well too, and that maybe they have a little bit of growing to do as well on their journey in order for them to actually show up in the way that we desire. So when it becomes difficult in these moments for anyone who is manifesting to see changes out there, understand that the difficulty is coming from within. And when we understand that, then we can actually find out why it feels difficult to us in the moment. And usually it'll be because we are finding some kind of resentment, some kind of frustration, some kind of impatience with the other person, because we feel like they should be a certain way for us to show up in a certain way for us, and we're not actually allowing ourselves to find the compassion within to understand that we're on different journeys. We're on the same journey, but on a conscious mind, we can be on different levels of that journey, and we have to understand that some people take a little bit more time to catch up to us on our journey as well too. So in these moments when we understand that some people need a little bit more time, this is when we ask ourselves, do we want to put the energy into it? Do we want to allow for this person to show up? And usually if we are, manifesting to see changes in somebody, we do want to see this. And so we do want to put our energy into it, because it's normally to do with people that we love and that we love unconditionally, and that we want to see better for them in their reality. But we do have to come into ourselves in these moments, because as we are all energetic beings, when we find difficulty rising within our own selves and seeing them in this way, and we see maybe we're a little frustrated or impatient, this energy is actually what is going to be translated then to the other person, and it's actually just going to kind of perpetuate the negativity within them, which is then going to show up in a way, because as everything within is without, it's going to show up manifesting with them actually showing up with more negative talk or negative behaviors, and that's kind of how it goes. So when we actually come into the compassion view and we say to ourselves, okay, I understand where this person is right now, I love this person, and I am going, because I love this person, I'm going to see them in this better light, I'm going to continue to affirm in this better way. When they show up in ways that I really am not able to tolerate in the moment, I'm going to be respectful for myself in these moments, and I am going to express my boundaries if it is appropriate to do so, and I'm going to allow them to see me in this new light as well too, and this inevitably will also influence them to grow on their own journey, and to see where they want to put their energy as well too. So we are co-creating on this earth. We're all co-creating, and most of the time in our reality we're going to be influenced by people. And how do you want to be in a way that, how you influence people? Who do you want to be as that person who is influencing people? If you are somebody who's going to be influencing others around you, you're going to be looking at more of the morality side of things, where you're going to be looking at specific principles to adhere to in order to, show up in a respectful and valuable way, so that this influence kind of rubs off really on it's like the ripple effect, where it eventually rubs off on others, and they too strive to show up in that way in their own time as well too. So really, when it comes to manifesting changes in others, we have the desired outcome in our mind. When we fall out of this desired outcome, we know that then the difficulty is arising to what we are tolerating. So sometimes there are things that we can tolerate for people that we love, little things now, not big major things. But however, there are some behaviors and some negative talk and things like that we do not have to accept. So when we show others when we show others what we do accept and what we don't accept, they learn as well too. It's like it's unconditional love. It's I love you, and that is why I'm not going to accept these negative ways of being for you, because I know that you are better than that. I'm not going to continue to believe in this negative story about you, because I know that you are better than that. So in order for me to not believe in this negative story about you, I'm going to come from a more compassionate view. And compassion means understanding. It doesn't mean that we accept negative behaviors if we're really not able to accept what is going on in a moment. That's where compassion comes in. We understand why someone may be reacting in a certain way, but we don't have to accept it as true for them or true for us either. And so this is where we find ourselves in these moments, and we ask ourselves, why am I triggered about this for them? Where is the difficulty coming with me that I'm not able to continue to believe in a better story for them? And you will find that it's really mostly it comes down to patience, and it comes down to understanding that we have all been in a certain way at some certain point, and sometimes we kind of have to put ourselves in another person's shoes, and we have to say to ourselves, if I was in these shoes, maybe I would be acting in these ways as well too. So I am going to have to understand where they are in this journey. But it is always up to me how I'm going to choose to continue on with this in my journey as well too. Is this somebody that I can see the best for? And also, we also want to be seeing the best for everybody. But if we're in maybe relationships or anything like that, that we have found that we are just, we're not kind of feeling good in these relationships, and we kind of have to say to ourselves, we're going to have to communicate through it, we're going to have to connect through it, and we're going to have to grow through it. Or am I going to have to actually transcend in and kind of move on into another? These are kind of questions that we have to ask ourselves in the moment. When it comes to relationships, there really is, no difference between anyone on this journey. When it comes to relationships, there's no difference from one guy to the next or one girl to the next. It really all comes down to what we are seeing and how we are perceiving things in our reality. It comes down to the choices that we make, and it comes down to, what we are going to allow to either weigh us down in the present moment as well too. Because when it comes to living out in this whole reality, we always get the choice, and we always have the choice to choose how we're going to think, how we're going to act, and how we're going to behave. And it doesn't mean that we give up on anybody along the way. It just means that we need to be more aware of what we're actually believing in those moments about anyone else around us, and also about ourselves too. Maybe there's ways that we can show up better that is going to influence others in a way that is positive as well for showing up better. So because everything around us when we are manifesting comes from the positive way of being, and anything that is negative, it has more of a power on us when we actually believe it more. If we believe in the negative more, we're just going to create more of the negative. And so these are the times when we have to come into the compassionate view of things, and we have to kind of transcend over everything that is happening and really just question what it is that we're feeling in the moment. Why am I believing in the negative of this person more than the positive of this person? What's going on within me that is not allowing me to see the best? And maybe I have to look at little things within me because I'm finding it a little bit difficult to see it in a different light, or see them in a different light. So I thought I'd make a video on that. If you have any questions, you can comment down below, and I will chat to you soon.